Hello and welcome back to the She Lives Purposefully podcast, our first episode of 2025. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I am joined today by my husband, and today we are basically talking about, I think I have titled the episode, This Year, Just Give Me Jesus.
Nice.
And we are talking really about, last week I did an episode on goals that I have for this year, habits, different things like that. But this year too, but this week, talking more so about the heart behind those things and focusing on the heart of just give me Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I think it's a really important episode. And also, if you are somebody, let's say it's January 2nd and you already flopped on your New Year's resolution or goals,
We've all been there.
Yeah, for sure. I think this episode is kind of encouraging because it focuses less so on checklist items and more so on our actual relationship with God and the heart behind it. And yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But before we dive into those things, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you doing?
New Year
Happy
to
New
you.
Year, wife. Yes.
As if I didn't literally spend ringing the new year with you.
Yeah. We had a quieter New Year's. I think it was like my first quiet one in a while.
It was sweet. I loved it though.
Yeah. Usually
he
there's...
said, yeah.
No, I did. I did. No, I really did. Especially because you might hear it. I'm a little congested. I'm a little sick. So definitely didn't feel like going out and stayed up late. Not that really we were invited anywhere.
No, we were actually invited
to a lot of things.
To a lot of things.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, you filtered.
Me gatekeeping. No. No, we were. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And two, with little Donnie, it just was like too much of a hassle. He wasn't going to stay up to midnight.
It's just hard.
And then how would we get him to? So
in the car, and just to of course, everybody's going to be celebrating if we're at a party, but we can't be like, keep it down for the baby.
I know, right?
So.
Yeah, just new waters to navigate here. But anyway, so we put him down, and he slept pretty good last night, right?
Yeah, he slept great. He did wake up from the fireworks, but only once, and then we put him back down, and he stayed asleep the rest of the night, which was
that's
awesome.
Fireworks from our neighbors. They're just, it's funny how when you become a parent,
you're like, rolled my eyes so hard.
it's funny how
our neighbors are great, but
yeah, well, yeah, and I had never had an issue with fireworks before. In fact, I was probably very pro fireworks.
I feel like, I have been to residential areas where friends of mine are doing fireworks in their residential home. And I'm like, yes,
more
so
fireworks,
fun.
please.
Like, all the Karens who are against it, like, no, yeah.
And then when you have a baby, you're like, everyone, shut up.
I was so mad. I'm like, nobody should ever do fireworks in a residential area. You don't know who's around.
Calling 911 on all our neighbors.
So mad last night. I was like, how dare they? But
anyway,
yeah.
he did good.
He did good.
We watched a movie.
Yeah, we're redoing our living room right now. And so we had the TV in our office, just kind of reorganizing the living room, and we brought our TV into the bedroom, which was fun, which I am not like a huge TV in the bedroom person. I don't have anything really against it. I just kind of like it.
You're like, TV should be for the living room.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, I'm not against it, but just, I guess, a personal thing. But it was really fun.
It was fun because it's like you're cuddled up in bed.
I think we're going to keep it the rest of the week.
We got our little Martinelli glasses.
Yeah, we watched a movie, and then we watched
The Ball Drop.
The Ball Drop, yeah, which was fun.
But yeah, it was quiet, but I really loved it.
I for one loved it, but
I was like, yeah, no, it was awesome. And we have some cortados too. You might notice we're drinking from some cortado glasses. This is courtesy of Tori Bear and Josh Bear, my amazing sister and brother-in-law.
So fun.
This was their Christmas present to us. Well, this was an extra, an above and beyond one.
Yeah,
we had a Pollyanna, a little Secret Santa thing, but Josh and I like drinking cortados. I'm actually not sure what a cortado is. I think it's espresso with a little milk.
Something
like that. It looks like this.
You guys drink it at our church's coffee shop. You guys
get
it. Like, whenever we go on Sundays, they both get it.
And they serve them in these really beautiful little glasses, which is probably 90% of the reason I order them.
Yeah.
Because you order them and everyone looks at it like, what is that? So anyway, they got them for us.
Super
We're
cute.
just having a little afternoon coffee.
Yeah, little near evening coffee. Keep us going.
I feel like it always feels evening with the sun down. anyway.
Yeah, I know.
But
that is sad.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that...
Get a little closer.
I'm trying to think. If you are seeing on YouTube too, Donnie's wearing headphones, so he's my audio guy today. And every day. But especially today, he's wearing the headphones.
We're both going to have headphones in the future. I just didn't buy the right stuff for us to both have it. So
no, you make this podcast go round though. So I thought you were going to do another cheers.
Cheers.
Like,
yeah,
okay.
cheers to that.
Happy New Year again. I'm trying to think what else. We have little notes here if you see me looking down.
Yeah, do we want to jump into it? I think maybe a good way to jump into it is like New Year's resolutions. Maybe some people hate that topic.
Yeah, I mean, I did an episode on that last week.
Right. Okay.
Somebody
so maybe
didn't listen.
No, you said that in the intro like 3 seconds ago.
No, and it wasn't even resolutions because I talked about too. I feel like some people hate the word resolution.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like goals, intentions.
Right.
But why don't you share some of yours because I shared mine.
So I guess one is reading my Bible more, and this will. Do we want to transition right into what we're talking about?
Yeah, unless you want to share more things.
Yeah, there's other ones like exercising. I feel like I was gonna say ever since we had little Donnie, that's kind of fallen off the bandwagon. But really,
maybe you can hear him.
Speaking of my boy,
his cue, his
son,
screen cue.
his grandma, my mom is watching it right now. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's just I feel like this past year I haven't really done much.
It's been a really chaotic year though.
But now that he's sleeping through the night, which is a new thing, it provides us the opportunity to create a little more routine. So I'm hoping in the mornings now I could get up, read my Bible, exercise, whether that's like running. There's a gym, Planet Fitness, like 5 minutes away. Maybe go into that, or push-ups, sit-ups, planks, whatever at home. Want to do that? What are you smiling at?
I'm just hearing him.
You're smiling and talking about exercise routine. You're like, you're not gonna do that.
No. I feel like when you set your mind to it, you're really consistent. Like there was a couple of months that you had set to do like it was like a sugar-free and exercising, and you were it was so inspirational. Like you really do. Like I feel like when you're like, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You do it.
Thanks.
It just was a chaotic year.
I do want to go sugar-free for a little while.
I feel like I was gonna say I'll join you, but I'm currently dairy-free, garlic-free, onion-free, and soy-free for little Donnie. So
those are things that really upset his stomach.
I need sugar.
Yeah.
I need like
no, you need it. You do. A little bump to the day.
Food joy, yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try that.
I
did it last year. I felt amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to the gym. I was sugar-free. I was doing. Planet Fitness has this like red light therapy thing. It's just like kind of like a tube you step into, and it just shines red light at you for like 10 minutes. Oh, and it gives you so much energy. I felt like. So anyway, I felt amazing. I haven't been doing that for a while, so I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely read my Bible more. I like to journal at night. I feel like journaling is a great, just on the day and reflections and things like that. I feel like it's a great way.
I love that.
Not only just to remember things, but also see how God's working in your life.
Yeah.
Obviously reading books in general more.
That's a good one. I need to do that more.
Yeah. It's figuring out where it fits in the day. Like, I guess that's a nighttime thing.
Yeah. Like maybe read. You actually, I feel like last year too, like this year, I feel like just threw us for a loop, but you were doing that a lot. You would read and then journal at night. I don't know if you remember.
What was I reading?
A bunch of different things.
I'm trying to remember.
You would go through, maybe it was like, I think.
Was it Harry Potter?
I was about to say, and then I was like, wait, I don't know if that's controversial. Harry Potter. And then, like, I think you would switch off to a different book.
Okay.
Like, it was like fiction
nonfiction.
and then spiritual. And then you also had, like, different things. I think you read some stuff for your thesis, too, when you were doing that. But that was way back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Fiction, nonfiction, kind of switch on and off.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like you don't want to digest heavy theology or something like that. You know, like it's.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
But that's a lot.
Props to you.
Props to you.
I just, it's just, yeah. So anyway,
that's a lot.
I want to do that. What about you?
I think that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to be reading my Bible more. I shared last week too that I'm going to be doing a Bible in the Year chronological Bible reading
Did
plan.
you talk about how your parents got you a chronological Bible?
I think I did mention
Okay.
it. Yeah. We should whip. No, we will, I'm not going to whip it out, but we do have it, which is really cool. It's right in there. So I'm going to be doing that. I don't know if it'll take me longer than a year. Probably will, but I'm going to do it and I'm really excited. It's by Daily Grace Co. and it's on the YouVersion app and I'm stoked to do it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's one of my goals. I feel like, and I shared this in the last episode too, just transparently this past year just threw me for a whirlwind in regards to a big part of that is routine. And I think I was depending probably too much on, or definitely too much on routine for my relationship with the Lord. Like if I don't have routine, then I'm not reading, then I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing this. And routine just went out the water.
Yeah.
Went out the, I don't know if that's the right expression.
Out the gate?
Went out the gate.
Yeah. Something. There's a word analogy there. Anyway,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, I think that I'm excited for. One, because we have more routine, but two, just to have a plan like that, and then I can listen to it even if I can't read that morning. Let's say he wakes up early, whatever it is. I do want to be walking more also. That was another one. And I forget
a good one.
everything I shared, but I also want to have more community. That's something we both talked about.
Yeah.
Maybe incorporating walks with that, like going on mom walks with people or just different things.
Yeah.
Coffee shop hangs. Yeah.
That's great.
The coffee budget's going to be sky high.
Oh man. Yeah. But no, if it's in, investing in people, it's like, that's a different,
I think
if it's
so.
just like, oh, I want, a random Starbucks.
then-
Well, sometimes you do, but
Sometimes you need a little treat.
a little treat.
Sometimes
every
every
day.
day. We both were all thinking that, yeah. Yeah.
But no, I think what you said is a good kind of jumping off point to the rest of the topic of this podcast, which is like relationship with the Lord. Because we were talking about this yesterday over dinner, that I realized, I don't know when this was, it might have been around like the Christmas services at our church, that I think I can fall into a mindset of, all right, I need to read my Bible. Like I need to go to church. I need to, like, all these like things that, as Christians we need to do, but losing sight of the reason really. Like I think oftentimes I can think, all right, I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good worker at my job. I want to do these different things. And the Bible is, kind of like your compass, your roadmap on how to lead a good life, which it is. But I think I can lose sight of the fact that
Sight of the fact.
Lose.
We didn't sleep much last night because it's just the New Year and stuff, and then Johnny got up early.
Lose sight of the fact that there is a person on the other side of those pages that is trying to connect with me too. Well, that is there. There's like he's knocking at the door, but it's a personal thing. And I think having like a duty kind of mindset of like, all right, I need to read for 20, 15 minutes, whatever, in the morning. I need to go to church on Sunday. I need to be praying, praying before meals, whatever, like doing these duty things. I think that's good. I think it's, it helps inject it into our life. But I think just kind of focusing on the fact that I need to do these tasks, kind of makes it more religion than relationship. Yeah. And, I know that growing up, that was a big thing. It's like, it's not our pastor says it all the time. It's like, don't play religion. This is not, this is a relationship with Jesus that we want. So it was just convicting to me to think about, all right, am I really trying to, connect with this person, this Jesus, like, or am I just trying to find out how to live a good life? Like, get my marching orders for the day and then kind of carry that out on my own. Yeah. Or am I really trying to cultivate a relationship here? Which is, very, I don't want to say elementary stuff, but it's like, of course, like we're all trying to develop a relationship with Jesus. And if you would have asked me, I think I would have said yes too. But I realized I fall into this mindset of just not really approaching it that way. Because I think if you do approach it that way, then it's like, all right, then developing a relationship is not just 20 minutes in the morning or whatever. It's, you know, praying throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like random times, praying for other people, encouraging other people in the Lord, listening to worship music more than just on Sunday. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all these other points where you inject Jesus into your life to connect with him.
Yeah. I have two thoughts that stick out to me. One, just talking about how you're saying like it's kind of elementary, but I remember, I don't know, I feel like I always have these quotes and vague thoughts that I know somebody said, and I never know who said it or what the quote was, but like there was this faith giant of our time, like, you know, someone iconic. Like a Billy Graham. Yeah. Who basically said like he needs to re-preach the gospel to himself every single day. And so it's these things that it's like, yeah, that might be, you know, something it's like, of course we know that, but like we always need the reminder of a lot of these things. So I just was thinking that. And I just really love everything you were saying, because I think it can be so easy to make it be a checklist. And I think what's hard is all of those things are good. It's good to have routine. It's good to read your Bible when you're not feeling like you want to, you know, when you're not feeling the passion and the like fire for the Lord. It's important to read your Bible anyway. It's important to go to church anyway, you know, those things. But it can be so tricky to then fall into like, okay, I'm just doing this because I should. I'm just doing this to be a good person.
I need to brush my teeth because I need to.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's kind of that task mentality.
Right. And so it's like, yes, do it, but like kind of changing your heart behind why you're doing it, I think is so good. And what you were saying too, of just like praying throughout the day, I think it just is a beautiful thing to kind of shift that mindset and say like, okay, I really, and I think the tasks become easier to do when the mindset is shifted.
For sure.
Like I'm just thinking to different seasons of my life, you know, we have these lows and highs in our spiritual walk and things, and particular highs where I think they're trademarked by I'm connected to Jesus. Like I'm spending time with Jesus. I'm talking with Jesus all day long. You know, I'm praying for things. I'm praying for myself, for other people, for parking spaces. You know.
Meg prays for parking spaces all the time, and God listens and answers those prayers. There have been multiple times, especially if we're downtown in the city,
it's pretty much like
where it's like there's not a chance we're finding a parking spot.
And then I pray for it.
She prays,
and it's not to
God
say
God blesses us.
You know,
I don't know. I've tried praying these things when we're fighting it, but I think Meg's got to. I don't know.
It's cool to like, you know.
But it's a great example of like
Jesus is your friend,
and he wants us to bring those things, even little things, to him, and it's just a great example. Of that.
Yeah, I think so. All that to say is, forming that actual relationship with him, which I think, and we can dive into that, is fostered by all of those routine things and doing that more and more and praying throughout the day. But once you're actually like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to meet Jesus, because I want to hang out with Jesus, because I want to talk with Jesus.
Because I want to love Jesus.
Because I want to love Jesus. Then it's like, oh, praying comes way more naturally.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm just talking to my friend who I was talking to this morning who helped me through this. And I think you said something really good too. I didn't write, this is, on par for what I just said. I didn't write the exact quote down, but just the vague idea of it, about how, we're talking, or it's getting to know the person, not just his benefits.
Yes.
And I think that's so important, that kind of mindset too, because a lot of times we do think okay, and it's good. Yes, Jesus changes lives. And so we go to him for those reasons. Of course, a lot of the times we do go to the Lord is selfish in that sense. It's and needy in that sense. And it should be I am desperately in need of change. I'm desperately in need of this, but also because I love him, that should be it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is it. And that's just, I think, the core of why he came down to earth. Maybe that's why I was kind of thinking about it. In the Christmas,
Emmanuel.
Yeah, in the Christmas season, he came down to be with us, to hang out with us, to do walk beside us in our life and guide us
Mm-hmm.
towards him. And yeah, I think just kind of hearing my pastor express these things, it's like, oh, you like really meet with him when you meet with him. Like you are, you know, I don't know how to express it,
I
but
feel like he says like in communion, like you're
you
in
are
fellowship
communing with God. Like it just felt like, you know, I don't want to say like when you are getting saved, but like when you're unsaved or maybe been away from the Lord for a while, like you see people who have a really relationship with Jesus and you're like, oh, that's what I want.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's not like that exactly, but you know what I'm talking about? It's like, oh, you see people who are like really spiritually mature and you're like, I want that. Like it's kind of one of those moments where it's like, oh man, that's a great thing to aspire to emulate, to work on this year.
Yeah. And I think too, like you were saying, it can be like either you're not saved and you see somebody who has that and is saved, or you're away from the Lord. But I think it can also be like you're walking with the Lord, but like you need either the fire reignited or just like that's part of growing in our relationship with the Lord. Like we're always growing. And so there's things the Lord is always going to be like pressing, you know, like actually I want you to do more of this, you know, I want it to be more like this instead of this, and building on that. Let me see. I had some other thoughts that I wanted to share too. I think, you know, we kind of talked about how praying throughout the day, I think, can actually really ignite this love for the Lord and wanting to actually have that relationship with him and forming that relationship with him. I think for me, what has just specifically one season I'm thinking of, but like kicked off really powerful spiritual seasons in my life.
Like more prayer, you're saying?
More prayer and just really feeling like I am so connected to the Holy Spirit. Like I'm so connected to God. We are like, I am, you know, we're walking in step kind of thing. And it's so beautiful. And I think some things that have kicked that off have been, one, remembering how the Lord is working in my life and has working in my life, kind of those stones of remembrance where you're seeing, like you're remembering God moving and you're seeing God moving, and it kind of ignites this like, wow, like he's actually moving in my life, or he has done that for me, and like I'm going to cling to that and move forward in that. But also I think, and there's the verse like, we love him because he first loved us. I think really dwelling on his love for us can ignite that too, because it's like, oh, I of course I want, you know, we all want to be friends with people that love us. Like we're all like, you know, self-centered in that way, but it's like the Bible says it, like that's why we love him, is because he first loved us. And so dwelling on that, how much he loves me. Like if you're struggling to get to that place of like, maybe you just like the routine and it feels too hard to actually grow a relationship with somebody, or maybe you're just feeling complacent, like, you know, new year, but same vibes of complacency, like that's real too. But you're like, I want that, but I'm just not feeling that. To dwell on the love God has for you and those stones of remembrance, those things. And stones of remembrance are like, I think it was when they passed over the river into the promised land, and it was these stones to kind of remind them of what the Lord had done and how he had brought them to that point. So kind of those things in your own life, thinking, remembering those things to kind of reignite this passion and love for the Lord and everything he's done for you.
Yeah, I think dwelling on his love is the biggest thing, because I think I forget all the time how much he loves us. And that really changes everything, because, you know, if he really loves us, like that's just the most amazing truth in the world, in the whole universe, that this almighty God came down to be with us. So yeah, I forget he loves us all the time. Yeah. And not just like, you know, Jesus loves us, but God the Father loves us. Because I think, again, it's like you can fall into these mental traps you don't even realize you put yourself in, where it's like Jesus is the one who really loves us, and God the Father is the one who's like, you know, are you sure I shouldn't punish them? And Jesus is, you know, like,
no, please.
Yeah, no, please.
Yeah.
But no, like the whole Trinity loves us so much. And so you're approaching these times, these prayers, these quiet times with the Lord, with your Bible, like knowing, oh, he wants to meet with me. He loves me. And there's really no other kind of love like this. So And then, yeah, you realize he loves you so much, and you want to pour that out to others. So it's a trickle down thing. But yeah, I think the love is the biggest thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it really ignites that. And I just think it's such an important mindset and conviction to have.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is why I'm doing everything I'm doing. This is why I'm seeking him to begin with. Like,
Yeah.
reading my Bible, all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And such a good heart and mentality to go into the new year with, because again, I think it keeps that like, oh, okay, I didn't read this morning. It's not necessarily about the routine. Like I can read tonight, or I didn't read yesterday. You know what? Like I'm on this trajectory.
Yeah.
It's not a checklist. I failed, so I'm going to skip the week or, you know, whatever. Like, I feel like we get into these mindsets, but it's like, no, like, oh, I forgot to call my friend yesterday, so I'm going to make sure I call them today. I'm going to make sure I spend extra time today because I really want to like hang out, you know?
Yeah. I think all that's good. It's like, just because you broke routine doesn't mean you have to, I don't know, press restart or reset on your relationship with God. Like, no, just seek him in the evening then, you know? I don't know.
Or like, just like you were saying, like, then just pray throughout the day. Like, okay, you didn't that morning, but like you have all day.
Yeah. And we're talking to ourselves here. Like
100%. 100%.
I know we're saying you, but so that's the big thing on my mind going into 2025.
Yeah.
I know we'd love to hear what's on your mind for 2025.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like some of your either goals, intentions, or just things on your heart. You know what I just realized right now?
What?
I usually have a word for the year and I do not for this year. So I think I'm going to I don't have anything.
Oh, I thought you were going to drop something off the top of your head right now.
I'm going to pray about it and maybe I'll have something next week.
Okay.
And maybe not. I'm not going to, push that.
Can you remind me what your word was for 2024?
Maybe I didn't have one last year.
No, I think you did.
No, I did. Oh, abundantly more.
The hyphen there. Abundantly more.
Yeah.
You mean the word like a message or phrase or like a...
Yes,
okay.
not necessarily just a word.
Single word.
I
Abundantly
have a
more.
word for you kind of.
I remember that now.
Yeah, it was abundantly more, and it was an abundantly more year. And it's not about abundance necessarily, prosperity, things like that.
Right.
Although it was so crazy because I remember making that my word for the year early in December, and then we got pregnant. Like it was really cool in ways like that, but it's more spiritual. Yeah, I remember, you know what I think? I don't know if I'm going to claim this yet, but I'm just going to, talk out loud. A couple of years ago, I had a whole blog on it. My phrase or word for the year was moving forward in grace. And that's been hitting me a lot. So I kind of want to remake that
Let's do it.
Phrase word for the year. I'm going to pray about it still. And but I really, even if that's not my word, quote unquote, that's something I'm dwelling on a lot lately.
What is that? Can you give a brief synopsis of what that means to you?
So I'll go back to what it was from before, the last time I did it. The previous year had been a year where I felt like I had failed a lot, spiritually, just gossip and, just different things where I felt like I just was flopping.
Yeah.
And I was really convicted about it, but condemned more so than just conviction. I was like, oh, I'm not who I thought I was, that kind of idea.
Yeah.
I didn't live up to my own expectations of this good Christian girl that I am, these kind of things. And the Lord really spoke to me. It was part of this whole set of verses that kind of ignited all of it. But it talks about, I think it's in Psalms. One of my good friends got me a keychain for it too. But I want to say it's Psalm 121, but that could be really wrong. Talking about how he who keeps you is not going to let you fall. Even though you may stumble, you're not going to totally fall. You may trip, but you're never, kind of thing. He's holding you. And and I think I had read it in a Devo, and it was tied to moving forward in grace. So kind of this idea of accepting. I'm not who I thought I was, kind of thing. I didn't live up to my expectations, but the Lord already knew that. I didn't fail his expectations, and I can own that, and I don't have to restart over. I don't have to continually beat myself up over it and sit in condemnation and feel the punishment of all those things. Like, no, I can release that
Yeah.
and move forward in the grace that God has for me. And so, you know, I think I shared in the last episode, I feel like this past year I was probably, I don't know if I want to say the most, but I was really inconsistent in my time with the Lord, more than I have been in a lot of years previously. And that can really weigh, I think, on you. It can weigh on me, and just feeling like, again, like I didn't live up to the expectations I had for myself that maybe others have for me.
Oof, that's a big one.
And yeah, that's my biggest thing in life. It really is the expectations of others. But, and you know, you can sit with that and be like, all right, well, what's another day then? Like, because I'm just failing anyway, or like the Lord's going to make me really wait for him then. Like, he's not going to meet me. Or I guess I'm
a failure. What's the point of moving forward if I'm just going to keep falling back?
He's going to like punish me by not speaking to me or whatever. And it's like, no, this happened. And, you know, that could be anything for anybody. Maybe it's a really big, quote unquote, big sin that you never thought you would commit and you did. Like, or it's something you always swore, you know what I mean, you would never do. And you messed up in really big ways. Or maybe it's just, quote unquote, smaller ways that you really never thought would happen. But it's like, I can embrace God's forgiveness, know that he already knew I didn't fail his expectations for me. And I can move forward. I'm not demoted. I'm not demoted. I think that's a big part of it.
Wow.
I'm not demoted in my relationship with him. Like, I can move forward in grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I mean, if he changes, that's great.
I like it too after just talking about it.
Moving forward in grace.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love it. Oh, so yeah, I think all that's really important.
Yeah.
Just like the heart behind why we seek Jesus, working on our actual like relationship with him, not just
the religion, quote unquote, aspect of it.
Yeah, not just the good things.
Yeah, the good things or the duties, the tasks we assign ourselves.
Not that those aren't important things.
Right.
But the heart behind it is
getting to the heart behind it.
Yeah, is the most important. And I think too,
the person behind it. Yeah.
You know what?
What?
That's good. The person behind it. I think jumping off of that too, it just reminds me of like, and I actually wanted to do an episode on this maybe later in January, but just all the different people throughout scripture who fail so hard. Yeah. And you're like, wow, how are they still these spiritual giants that we look at and applaud and things like that? And it's because they knew God, like because they had a relationship with God, not because they scored 100 on their like duties and how they performed, but it's because they were friends with God, like, and they continually sought him even when they failed. So there's so much freedom in actually being a friend of God instead of being bound by the law.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that's on the new covenant. I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's good.
Anyway.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else?
I don't think do you have anything else?
Can I do a little teaser for the next time you want me to come on?
Yes. I don't know if it's going to be next week's episode, but it will be in January.
January. So dry January is a thing for people. This is normally for people who drink the rest of the year, alcohol, and
water.
And they want to take a break. And so, there's No Shave November, which I participated in.
Through December
into January. But for those who drink, dry January is a thing where they abstain from drinking. And we don't drink. And we want to do an episode on why that is.
Yeah.
But that's all. That's all I'll say. Just a little teaser there.
I'll say too, I'm really stoked for this episode. And it's a very like non-condemnation conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's important, like, because maybe you hear that and you're like, skip. I don't want to hear like, them being like, drinking is a sin. You know?
But we think it's timely, just with the month being what it is, and honestly, it's a little trendy right now.
So trendy. I'm so excited for this episode.
There's a big non-alc movement.
Next week.
But anyway, that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
I always love being on this.
I was excited to have Donnie on because I feel like this whole topic was really spurred on by you and your intention. I was going to say resolution, but it's more of like a heart and intention. So thank you for sharing that with all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, friends. Like Donnie said earlier, feel free to share what is on your heart. You can comment on YouTube, on Spotify, message me on Instagram. I would love to hear what the Lord is like kind of stirring up in your heart for this new year or this month. It doesn't have to feel very like weighty, or sometimes we can really make it overwhelming, because it's like, what is the God speaking to me about the whole year? Right. The resolution that I have to keep, like, or I'm a failure. The things that creep up in my own mind. But yeah, just the things, you know, that God's teaching you right now and speaking to you about. Would love to hear that. Thank you so much for listening to the She Lives Purposefully podcast in this new year, 2025. Exciting news coming in 2025 regarding the podcast. Exciting wall updates here coming in 2025.
A nice little something here next time.
Maybe next time, maybe in January. As a whole, we'll see what happens. When it happens. Friends, thank you so much for listening. Live purposefully and live for Jesus. Love you, friends. See ya.
Bye.